5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As the heel turns with Gaz, Vinny, Dan America, and the Tig Man.
Completely unaware that boogers are not part of the 4 food groups.
This week on As the Heel Turns, the guys count down the top 5 female wrestlers of all time. You just made the list!
And we are back after a 2-week hiatus. As the Heel Turns, the wrestling podcast is back with you with another edition of our top 5 list. It's Gaz here with you, Tigman, Dan America, Vinny, giving you the top 5 female wrestlers of all time. The top 5 best female wrestlers in the history of wrestling.
Hey, guys, I don't mean to cut you off.
Okay.
We've got a caller.
We have a caller. Okay, cool.
First time in the history of the podcast. Who's this? Hello?
Zach By.
Zach By, what's going on, man? All the way in Denver, Colorado, a former member of the As the Heel Turns podcast. Zach, I'm glad you're with us. This week's category, we know you love it. We're talking top 5 female wrestlers of all time. Zach, you ready for it?
Zach.
Oh, he was really ready.
Oh, man.
Zach, never a fan of female wrestling.
He got
Okay.
so excited.
I was hoping to catch up with Zach, too, see how he's been doing at his new job.
We told him the topic, he hung right up on us.
Unreal.
We hope everything is great with Zach. Let's start with our list. For me, I don't know you guys, we'll find out throughout the podcast. This was the toughest list for me to compile, especially in number 5. I had to have a cutoff. I danced between 3 names, but I finally settled on this name.
I'd like to dance with any of my name.
The 5th name on my list is Chyna. And I know Chyna finally wins the WrestleMania Women's Championship in a squash match, but Chyna in the Attitude Era almost didn't need the women's division. She was so good as a female wrestler. Now, maybe not technically in the ring, but the look that she had, the intimidation that she had, how she became an Intercontinental Champion. There's something that I look at in Chyna and think, I can't ignore how important she was. And if you put Chyna in this era, the Attitude Era, any other era, you look at her physically and you think, who in the world is ever going to beat her? I had to put Chyna at 5 on my list.
Now, was it hard to get to number 5?
Extremely hard. I had 2 other names that I didn't put on my list. I don't want to say their names yet because they might get mentioned during somebody else's list. So Chyna, did anyone else have Chyna on their list or thought about it?
Chyna.
Not me.
Chyna.
I don't know if I can
She
consider
had big
her
hands.
a female wrestler.
Why can't you consider? She's a female. I think.
She was?
Well, in the women's
I've seen
division.
porn, I
Yeah,
guess
she's
she
a
is.
female wrestler. Yeah, I saw it too. I saw Sean Waltman or whatever. You know, he fell off the face of the earth and landed in China. But
He's selling meth, by the way. Not doing a good job of selling his
hey,
meth.
that's not fair. He's selling weed too.
No, those are pills to treat yeast infection. That's what he said. So
It's all alleged crimes. All right, so nobody else had Chyna on their list. I'm going to go over to
Doesn't
Tig.
he have herpes?
Who? Sean Waltman?
What's the STD he had?
I don't want to find out about
I don't
X-Pac's
know.
STDs. I'm going to Tig's
But
number
it
5.
might have come from China.
It could have.
What, does he wrestle often there?
Tig, give me your number 5 before we go to a deep discussion I don't want to find out about.
China.
Giving you my number 5 here. I know I'll take crap for this, but my number 5.
You're going to take number 2 for this.
My number 5 here on my list is a woman by the name of Jean Basson,
Who the hell is that?
who otherwise was known as Hollywood in the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling Glow back in the 1980s. Now, do you remember Glow?
I know Glow is getting their own Netflix
Yes,
show.
this-
That I do know.
Yeah, they were big in the 80s, early 90s. Glow, the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. Hollywood was part of the tag team Hollywood and Vine, named after the famous street corner in Hollywood, right? And she wore the black with the sequins, and she had a studded robe, not a studded robe. I'm sorry, studded bra. She was just hot. She was like a metal chick. And when I was a young kid watching wrestling, between WWF at the time, and I would switch between WWF and I'd also watch Glow on Saturday mornings. It was maybe on Channel 11 out of New York, PIX. And Hollywood was my favorite. Just because she was smoking hot, she makes my list at number 5.
Well,
I don't even know who she was.
For Glow, like for us who may not have a perspective of Glow, was it not just a wrestling show. Wasn't there like a soap opera-y, like reality show feel to the show? It wasn't just straight wrestling.
It was pretty much a joke, you know?
Right.
It was a lot of, it was like a reality show kind of thing.
I think I vaguely remember the show.
Yeah, you'll have to YouTube it after the podcast.
Okay.
I mean, just blatant, ridiculous fakeness going on with but to give you an idea, another wrestler who I didn't think was so hot, her name was Mount Fiji. And you can imagine
that sounds hot.
You can imagine what her body style was like. But Hollywood was hot, and she still
Rugged?
looks good to this day at like 54 years old. I just looked her up.
Mount Fiji, isn't that a volcano?
Yes.
Did she shoot out of her head? Did she make you want to?
I'm willing to at least learn about Glow because that
She was
Netflix
huge.
series that's coming out with Allison Brie and
Yeah.
others. And I don't want to say it's a bad pick, or I'm not even going to argue with it because I just don't have perspective on Glow yet.
Hollywood probably has a unibrow with hairy legs.
No,
we're now going to find
don't
out
do
takes
that
taste.
to Hollywood.
No, Hollywood's hot, and I hear this series, this Netflix series.
Yeah.
I hear it's very good. A buddy of mine, Joe, another big mark, said it's great. Check it out. So I do want to see
Awesome.
that.
I definitely into that because I think that point brings up the first point of the podcast that we're all going to realize that if we did these lists 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago, and then 6 months from now in the future or a year from now, the people that are going to be on our lists will be moving all over the place for
Exactly.
the time period of wrestling.
Right.
At least for me. I mean, how much has changed in women's wrestling in the last 24 to 36 months and over decades? I think my list would move. Yeah. Go ahead for years 5, Jane America.
Well, geez, I got to get my head straightened here. Like the equation you just laid out. First, I was thinking Back to the Future, then Bill and Ted, then Doctor Who. I was like, do I need a phone booth or a DeLorean? All right, let's go on my number 5. My number 5 is Wendy Richter, one of the most important female wrestlers in the WWE, longest reigning WWE Women's Champion. And she was involved in the war to settle the score, the Rock and Wrestling Connection. The promos where they're always running and they never really tell you why or where they're going. And I like Wendy Richter because, back in the day, it was slim pickings when it came to the women wrestlers because I feel that they didn't get much characterization. They just kind of showed up and, hey, there you are.
Well, she did have Cyndi Lauper in her corner for some
That's right.
time,
Cyndi Lauper in her corner. I found her matches to be entertaining, but I always try to watch the older women wrestle. Like, I like to watch the older tapes of like Moolah and Mae Young and all that business. There's that one female wrestler from back in the day. I can't remember her name, but it's not important because I put Wendy Richter down because of her accomplishments.
All right. Wendy Richter at 5. Does anybody else have Wendy Richter on their list?
You see, this would also be an age thing. Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe Vinny or Gus, you didn't really grow up watching them. Now, I didn't put Wendy Richter, but I just want to say I put down 2 female wrestlers that feuded with Wendy Richter back in the 80s.
Okay.
They made the list.
That's a little podcast tease we call it. But you go right ahead, man.
Yet again, though, when it comes to a Wendy Richter, even for me, a fabulous Moolah, I'm going to just say right now, she's not on my list. Now,
that's sacrilege.
Now, but here's
come on.
Before I get
Not
into
on my list.
Before I get into number 5, which I'd love to get into number 5, I just want to make a note.
The robot.
The stuff that I watched of
sometimes
Fabulous
I say some
Moolah.
weird things about Ali Sheedy, but you're talking about
Jesus. Anyway, I didn't have some of the older women on here because I didn't really see much of their stuff. When it came to Moolah, I saw her wrestling in matches where she couldn't even take a headlock. So that kind of thing, I couldn't do it. Number 5 on my list, I'd love to get into her, Lita. Lita, in my opinion...
You'd love to get into her?
Yes.
Is that what you said?
You wouldn't?
No, of course. I mean,
God.
I love how there's clarification going on here on the podcast.
We're talking about Mount Fiji and you want to be with her.
All right, what are these puns we're using now? All right, Lita 5 on your list.
Lita...
Not out of side of the ring, inside of the ring.
Yes.
What did you like about her?
Both. I mean, outside she might be higher on the list. I don't know. Like, growing up, I was like 10 years old, just starting to figure out what that one organ on your body does. And I'm watching Lita come out with the thong up above her hips.
Has nothing to do with her wrestling skill.
No. If you would let me finish.
All right, let's hear this. Yes.
We don't want to let you finish.
The moves, like just doing a hurricanrana, a moonsault, women didn't do that stuff. She did. And it just she kept getting better. She would take dives off of ladders with the Hardy Boys. She would be integral parts of the TLC matches they were in. Moving forward, all the big feuds she was in with Trish Stratus. I thought she was a better wrestler in some aspects than Trish. Trish had a little bit more of something, which I'll get into that a little bit later. Lita, number 5, to me, she is one of the best women wrestlers of all time, both personality-wise and in the ring.
See, this is where I disagree with you, and I think Lita should be in the top 5. She is on my list. I have Lita at number 2. Lita's that high for me. And a lot of things that you pointed out there. What she did inside the ring, the Hurricane Ranas, the backflips, her style, she was so much different than any other female wrestler we had seen before. The female wrestlers would come out with a ton of makeup.
But she had tattoos.
She had tattoos. She was a rock chick. She had the underwear. I'm telling you this. I saw so many girls in high school and middle school that would rock the Lita look, a.k.a. the jeans too low, and the thong was hanging out from the back.
I wish they'd bring that look back.
Right? I can tell you in 10th and 11th grade, there was a girl who used to sit in front of me that thong was hanging out. I'm like, she's trying to be like Lita right now. She's doing it in the ring. We're talking about how she could perform. She was one of the best. Now, at the tail end of it, with Edge and all that stuff she was doing, she became less of a wrestler. But I would take.
She could still go.
No
and
doubt.
She would wrestle Trish and Mickey.
She has a capability that I don't think a lot of female wrestlers do. Is that she could do things in the ring that no one else could do.
She even beat Heath Slater.
Really?
But
so Lita's on my list at 2. I think she was phenomenal.
Another
when she was
point,
doing
though, this list for me was so hard to pick because I look at this list and any of them could be at number 1. If anybody had these 5 on my list at number 1, it wouldn't shock me.
And you brought up Lita and somebody else who could be on your list later, so I'm just gonna jump to my 4 because it's an easy transition into Lita. My number 4 is Trish Stratus. And that's why I have Trish here at 4. And I get the argument's going to be, well, Trish had more runs with the title than Lita. But everything that happened with Trish that didn't involve wrestling kind of wipes away at her legacy for me. When she was doing the stuff with McMahon, where she was like taking her clothes off and like was trying to make out with McMahon.
Barking like a dog.
Barking like a dog? Like, we just excuse all that stuff. Be like, oh, yeah, it didn't happen. No, it did. Like, that's the same female wrestler who was there. I think Trish Stratus, she was more of the show and the Stratusfaction and all this going on in the chest region, let's just say, that made her more popular than Lita. So I got Trish at 4.
She was innovative with a lot of moves, though.
You know, if we were going by hottest chicks in wrestling growing up, you know, Trish Stratus, Lita, absolutely would have made my list on here. But I went, I did add Hollywood. Hollywood was number 5 because she was hot. But so I really don't have a case to stand on here, a leg to stand on. Should I move on to number 4?
Unless anybody else had Trish on their list.
Did anybody else have Trish?
No, I did not have
Vinny.
Trish.
Vinny, you did. Vinny, where's Trish on your list?
She's number 2.
Number 2. Okay, so we basically flopped Trish and Lita.
She is number 2.
Who wouldn't want to flip?
There's so many innuendos on this podcast. It's the best one.
Trish at number 2 for me, just the progression. The way she was when she came in, so green. She had a good look. I mean, she had big tits, so of course she had a good look. But she would constantly progress. You know, it went to the McMahon stuff. Working with McMahon alone, that shows that they had some mindset to go with her.
He said tits.
So anyway, moving on beyond that, I mean, by the next WrestleMania, she was in the second to last match on the card with Jazz and Lita. And she kept progressing beyond that. She did a feud with Chris Jericho. Like, she just did so much, in my opinion. She raised the bar in that division.
I wouldn't.
It got brought back down. It got brought back down after she left. But she raised the bar, and
I'm convinced, and maybe I don't want to hint too far ahead to our overall number 1, but I have a feeling if a lot of us did this list 2 to 3 years ago, before the women's revolution,
number 1 wouldn't be number 1.
Right. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I think Trish Stratus could have been number 1 on our list if we did this in 2013 or 2012. She may have had I would have had probably Lita as my number 1 at that point. So
maybe not Tig, seeing as Mount Fuji's probably like the female Giant Gonzalez, but fat.
Yeah, probably, just about.
I'm going to toss it back over to Tig here for number 4 on your list.
All right, I went number 4 with a recent entrance into the world of wrestling, Alexa Bliss, Raw Women's Champion. She is one that I like to tune in for and watch, not only because she's hot, but I think she's great in the ring. I like Alexa Bliss. That's what else do I have to say? She made number 4 on my list of the top 5 female wrestlers of all time.
Yeah, I agree. Like, so far with Alexa, I love her mic skills when it comes to the heel work because she's
so good.
really rocking.
She is
with
great
heel
on the
work.
mic. She is.
Alexa to me, I'm not trying to spotlight myself here, but Alexa to me, I think maybe someday, not just yet. That's my own opinion.
I think she's the best thing going right now.
Right now, yes.
Male or female. I think she's the best thing going right now on the product today and May 4th.
I've got 2 on my list that says otherwise.
Okay. Like May 4th today.
Did they
Somebody's
actually
doing
say
it better
it?
than Alexa?
Did they actually say otherwise, or are you saying otherwise?
They did too.
Okay.
It's true. It's true.
I think she's done everything. I think the one thing we forget about Alexa Bliss is that she was not in the Four Horse Women. There was a whole group of female wrestlers that she, I guess the term is like a rub. If she was with that, people would have thought she was great. She did it on her own.
She did.
She didn't need any of them to be that good, and she is great. She blows away some of the other people from years ago.
I like her
She could do that to
moveset.
me.
That's a very inventive moonsault that she does. I like insult to injury. Am I the only one that pays attention to her moves?
No, she's good.
I personally, I love how it's a small little touch, but the way she holds the belt after she wins.
That's right, baby. 5 feet of fury, little Alexa Bliss.
Well, let's go to my number 4 then.
Let's do it.
Because I think that my number 4 is a little bit better than Alexa Bliss and has a little bit more going right now.
Are they 5'1"?
What?
Are they 5'1"?
No. Well, okay. So she has a couple more inches on Alexa Bliss.
Giggity. Woo!
She also has a couple more title runs. She also has an article about her in Forbes magazine, and she is also the daughter of the greatest of all time. I'm talking about Charlotte Flair. Can I get a woo? Woo! I cannot woo. Thank you.
Woo.
Why do you like Charlotte Flair so much?
I like Charlotte Flair because I like her mic skills. I like her heel work. I don't appreciate her as a face. I like my Charlotte a heel. And I love her ring work. She has a little bit of everything in the ring. I think that Charlotte could have taken Chyna. I think that Charlotte could have taken Beth Phoenix. I think that Charlotte could have taken my number 3 on my list. I like Charlotte's ring work. I think that during the Sasha Banks-Charlotte feud, that Charlotte carried it a little bit more than Sasha. No disrespect to Sasha, but, well, that's kind of like... Oh, I'm pulling a Hogan here. I'm going to retract my statement. And Charlotte and Sasha both made it, but there's something about Charlotte. You know, she's got those technical moves. She's got that aerial assault. She's the full package. She's got the pedigree. She's got the title runs by now. That's for damn sure.
She's got 4-time champion. I don't want to jump on Tig or Vinny's
Really?
because I have a feeling you guys both may have Charlotte, and I think you guys may have Charlotte high.
Really quick, though?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to jump on the comparison you made to Charlotte, Chyna, and Beth Phoenix.
Okay.
Here's the best part. Charlotte isn't portrayed like either of those women.
Mm-hmm.
Those women were portrayed as monsters.
Yeah.
Charlotte's not portrayed that way. She looks it, but she's not portrayed that way. And that's one of the other shining reasons that Charlotte's so high on my list.
I'm going to go with it. I don't know where you guys had Charlotte.
By the way, did you see what happened today?
Yeah, we did. We did some research on that.
What happened?
She may have had some pictures leak on the internet, let's just say.
I am shocked and appalled by this news.
Do you want the link?
Yeah, I couldn't find it earlier. I was looking for 2 hours.
Charlotte Flair, for me, is number 1 on my list. I think she's the greatest female wrestler of all time right now.
Number 1
By
on mine,
God,
too.
we agree,
All
guys.
3 of us.
Number 1.
So Vinny has Charlotte as 1. Tig has Charlotte as 1. I have Charlotte as 1. Let me go first, and you guys can jump on who wants to go first after this. Dana America, a lot of things you said there. But she's wrestling in the greatest era in women's wrestling. She's one of the reasons why.
The queen.
Female wrestling. The queen.
4-time
no doubt.
champion.
No doubt. What she did with Becky Lynch and Sasha and Bayley changed it all. And when we look back, Vinny, I talked to you about this a little bit off the air. I compared this list to almost boxing in the UFC. When Ali was fighting Frazier and he was fighting Foreman and all these other great boxers at the time, the reason why they were so good is because everyone they fought against was Hall of Fame type boxers. It was the best era of boxing in the 70s for the heavyweights. That's what we're dealing with now. She's the best of the best. And here's what Charlotte doesn't get enough credit for. she was not great on the mic. She wasn't.
Oh, no.
And she got so much better. To think that you're the best women's wrestler in the company and you've probably been the most improved wrestler overall in a year is a huge statement of her. And you're so right, Dana Maker. She has to run as the heel. The whole queen thing, it's not even like a hard gimmick, but she made it so much better than what Bayley doing with her like inflatable things and Sasha. Like, what does that even mean, being the boss? Charlotte took it to another level. She is number one, and she's going to continue to be number one.
Think about this for Charlotte. This is my take. Her father's Ric Flair. Easily, arguably, one of the best wrestlers ever. She has a massive slot on that roster to fill. Like, she's just not somebody coming in and wrestling and being okay and getting a push because daddy was good. She is actually backing it up. If anything, she is doing way more than she needs to do. She easily one of the best female wrestlers WWE has seen in the last 2 decades. That alone puts her at number one for me. I'm not a big fan of the way that they booked her towards the end of last year, just always losing the belt on Raw, winning it back on the pay-per-view, losing the belt, winning the belt, losing the belt. It didn't make sense to me. Should have just kept it on her. A really, really, really long reign would have done more for her than I think multiple reigns. But Charlotte easily number one. She backs up everything. She is amazing, and her matches are things of beauty.
But the reason they're doing that, I have to say, is obviously
so she can get up to her dad's number.
Yes, I mean she's the daughter of the greatest of all time, Ric Flair. You're going to see several. She's going to hold that title many times over her career. The figure 8 leg lock. An advanced version of her dad's move, the figure 4. It's great. It's a great move. She's great on television. Like God says, her mic skills have drastically improved. She is the main reason why I tune in to watch the women wrestle.
Entrance music is killer.
Oh, it's great.
Do you think she's Are we getting the SmackDown roster at Glens Falls in May?
Yes, we are. SmackDown.
I hope so.
So that means Charlotte's coming.
Yes.
Yeah. So who's going to book her? Q103 or 1045 the team? It's going to be a fight outside to try to get that booking?
That's in June, I think, actually.
Yes,
isn't it?
June.
Is it
June
June
4th.
Is,
June 4th.
Is everybody going to try to go to this? Or?
Oh, yeah. I haven't
try to
seen
make this
Charlotte
one.
yet.
What night is that on?
I want to see
It's a Sunday.
Nakamura.
It's a Sunday.
I think we should all go. Maybe the podcast.
Will the
should
Rock
go.
and Roll Tour bus bring us up there?
A little road podcast on
As
the
the
road?
Heel Turns
right.
podcast. We'll get the As the Heel Turns section.
sorry.
of the
I love it, yes.
Call the Rock and Roll limo. Have them pick us up on the way.
Going to Glens Falls.
Is it good enough to make it to Glens Falls?
I think we could do
We
it.
all want to see Charlotte in action for sure. She was number 4 on your list. She was number 1 on Vinny's, Tiggs, and my list. I think, Vinny, we left off on 4 or 3 on you.
I didn't say my number 4, actually.
Okay,
So
what's your number 4?
my number 4 is one, maybe it's a little shocking, but this woman was great growing up. Right when I started watching, she just started coming in. Number 4 on my list, Ivory. Ivory maybe didn't have the best looks, and maybe that's why a lot of people would tend to forget her just at the time she was there. Beautiful woman. But at the time she was there, she was competing with Sable and Stacey the Cat Carter. She had some competition, but she could go.
We'll call it that.
She could really go in the ring, and she was able to stay with the company wrestling until, I believe, 2004.
Somebody pull up a picture of Ivory on their phone because she slips my mind.
Just imagine your 5th grade
hot
teacher.
now, man.
Is she-
Here we go. Hang on, take
She's
I'm
no
gonna-
Stacy Keibler, though.
No. But Ivory, I don't know. I liked it.
I wonder if Ivory would have worked in another era.
I think
right.
Ivory would have worked amazing in the 80s.
Maybe, yeah.
And she did a table for 3, and she wants to come back so she can be part of this. Because she had even said it was all bra and panty matches and Barbie dolls when she was wrestling, but she wanted to wrestle.
I don't know.
Can she still do it? Is she?
I think so.
What age is she at?
I think, let's see, I got her pulled up right now.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yep. Now I remember Ivory.
Yeah, she's 56. Okay, maybe she
Oh,
can.
yes. Now I remember
The only
Ivory.
other issue with Ivory is that was she the best of her era, or was that era so good? I
I
wonder
think
if
she could have been
Yeah.
the best of her era.
I don't know
Not
about
quite.
that.
Actually,
man.
number 3, my number 3 is better than her.
All right, we'll keep that
In
number
that same
3
era.
in there for you. I think, Tig, we're on 4 for you. 4
No,
or
I
3?
did that.
All right,
4 was Alexa Bliss.
Nice, that's right.
We're going 3.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, did you do 3?
I only have 1 name left, so I was going to
Oh,
stay away.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
All right. My number 3 growing up, mid 80s, early 90s, watching Leilani Kai, billed from Hawaii. She was actually from Tampa, Florida. Leilani Kai, the
Shocker,
Hawaiian.
WWE lied.
Trained by the great, fabulous Moolah. Loved watching Leilani Kai fight. Actually, she defeated Wendy Richter at one point, who you mentioned it was on your list, Dan America. She defeated Wendy Richter for the WWF Women's title at one point. She would move on after her title reign to form a tag team with another female wrestler by the name of Judy Martin. They formed the Glamour Girls, who had a nice run for a while and became women's tag team champions in the WWF, managed by the great Jimmy, the Mouth of the South Hart.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Leilani Kai from Hawaii, but really from Tampa, Florida. Number 3 on my list, Leilani Kai.
Did you remember Leilani Kai, Dan America? You shook your head like you did.
Vaguely.
Yeah.
Didn't she have the weird, like, the makeup on her eyes? Is that who I'm
She
thinking
had-
of?
No.
Or am I thinking of somebody that feuded with Alundra Blaze?
Should we jump to me now because he's talking about my number?
Yeah,
3.
jump to that's a part called the perfect segue. Go right ahead.
Okay. The number 3 on my list is none other than Bull Nakano. And that's who you're thinking
That's
of.
who I'm thinking of, okay.
The hair and the eyes.
Yep.
And Bull Nakano is number 3 on my list because rarely do female wrestlers or wrestlers at all scare me. But Bull Nakano scared me.
I don't think she made anybody else's list. Am I right?
You know, this is
I thought about her because I've seen some of her matches. She was amazing. For that time, man.
But I think it brings up a great point, and this is where the biggest difference between our lists are, is that Tig is almost picking some of his favorite female wrestlers of all time that he remembers their matches. Vinny's remembering some of the people he thought had the potential to be great and could have been great. And it seems as if you're doing like some ring work, like what Bull Nakano could do in the ring couldn't go with anybody else because she was so good at what she did. I guess mine is like the legacy of the ring. So all 4 of our lists have different mindsets of what we consider to be the best of all time. Why else did you like Bull Nakano?
I like Bull Nakano because of her presentation, her ring work. You know, she came in like a bully. She was a big, bad bully. You know, she beat other girls up. And that's something that you only see in like, well, Bull Nakano, well, let me rewind that. Nia Jax is today's Bull Nakano without the hair and the makeup. Well, hair and makeup.
Now I remember.
Hair and makeup removed, Bull Nakano could have been attractive, not necessarily my cup of tea. However, I just remember watching her matches and fearing for her opponent.
Dan, this is Bull Nakano.
Yeah.
No way. Is it really?
That's Bull Nakano.
Bull Nakano kind of looks like an older Lauren Pipton from
she
that
plays
70s
golf?
Shows. Really?
Yeah, she's in the LGPA, or I
Interesting.
don't watch golf.
That's also Bull Nakano.
You know, I watch football, or I'm a football fan.
That's some sick hair.
Yeah, and when you see her, like, she's in these vicious, brutal matches, and it Bull Nakano is kind of like the Undertaker of the women's division, because if you want to back then when you wanted to put a woman over, you know, have Bull Nakano put him over, because that seems impossible.
What I'm forgetting maybe about Bull Nakano and these other wrestlers of that age is that the title was gone for a few years. Do we blame them or do we blame the business for the title, the women's title itself, just being yanked away? Because Nakano was right around that time, right?
Well, I say we blame the business
yeah.
because of, you know, the Divas title exists, you know, the butterfly belt.
There were, and you got to think, 95 is when that title went away. Try to name 5 top female wrestlers of that time.
95, the women's title went away?
That was when Alundra Blaze went to WCW.
Oh, I thought you meant, never mind.
But try to think about 5 women's wrestlers from 1995. That is why I say the industry. Because I would say Medusa, Bull Nakano, Bertha Faye. I can't think of anybody else.
And that's not their fault.
What
'cause
about
if they're not
Jackie?
if they're not getting put on TV, they're not.
But she wasn't like in WWE. And was she wrestling then, or was she still just a valet then?
Pretty sure she was wrestling. Jackie was a pretty tough lady.
Well, are we talking good segues, guys?
Yeah, I think, yeah. We'll go to Jack in a second. I just want to get this point out there that, like, eventually you have to look and say, it's like our business. We all work in radio, right? So if we're not getting over with our listening audience, our bosses can blame and say, well, it's because, you know, us as the jocks can say, hey, we're not getting enough promos or we're not doing our job well enough. Our bosses would say, you have to get over with your crowd. Eventually you have to take the blame for yourself. I get if your business is not giving us enough airtime, we can't get over. It's like the chicken and the egg. But if they're telling you, the crowd, we don't want to see Bull Nakano or Alundra Blaze or Mirtha Faye or whatever. Like, she was huge. I remember Bertha. She's like 400 pounds.
I love
Who would
the
want to
heart-
see a 400-pounder sit on people? Like, I get it. Like, I get why they wouldn't want them on TV. It wasn't entertaining. Number 3, I think we had a segue into Miss Jackie.
Not Miss Jackie. Miss Jackie was Jackie Gata.
Oh, I know. I liked her.
Jacqueline is my number 3. Man, like, she came in, she revived the women's division. She was the first women's champion after Alundra Blaze left. And man, did she deserve that honor. To have to lose that to Sable 3 months later, that's a slap in her face, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Jackie is one of the toughest, roughest women that wrestling has ever seen. She could go with men, and she would beat the hell out of them. She was Cruiserweight champion at one point.
She was. Jackie's
I
like...
wouldn't mess with Jackie.
Jackie's
No,
like
I wouldn't either.
But she's like 5 feet tall, isn't she? She's like
So
Alexa
what?
Bliss's size.
Big deal. Jackie, yet another one, though. She went for so long. She had a good run in WCW. She did very good in WWE. Multiple-time women's champion. Plus, she showed her boobs on WWE TV. And
Did she on Fully
did.
Loaded?
No, that was on Capital Carnage.
Is that still on the network?
It is, but it's probably blurred out now.
Yeah, well,
Wait, didn't
You
you
can find it on
I thought it
YouTube.
happened twice.
It may have happened twice.
Whatever. They were nice.
By the way, I heard a phrase on something I listened to that Vince McMahon said backstage when that happened, when he was trying to pitch it.
What happened?
Okay, you're gonna be up on the ref's shoulders, then all of a sudden, someone's gonna grab your brassiere from behind, pull it, and expose to the crowd are chocolate titties.
Oh my God, he's a nut job, isn't he? That's
But that's what Vince's mindset was, right? Like, I kind of feel bad for Jackie because that moment,
Right.
the Fully Loaded moment, not so much her winning the women's championship. Like, those are the moments I remember of her career. There's somebody else from that era, and I don't know if anyone had her on the list, and I don't want to jump ahead of you, but maybe you had her on this list.
My list is done.
Did anyone have Sable on their list? Because I feel like
Oh,
Sable
hell no.
and Jackie.
Hell
Okay,
no.
okay,
Hell no.
okay, all right.
hell of a Playboy spread.
She
though,
was, but we have to give Sable this.
The hotness
Sable,
only takes you so far.
but she was the most. I would put Sable maybe top 6 in
No, not
popularity.
even. I
In popularity of the '90s. You're telling me the reaction that Sable got wasn't as good as other wrestlers?
I would
it-
say
The crowd
she
would
may
go
be
nuts.
It was
one
an
of the most
okay
over.
reaction.
Yes.
She may be one of the most over women ever.
Yeah, but she was over for only a short period of time.
But in that time, she was the number 2 merch seller behind Austin.
So?
That alone.
But that again,
For how long?
sure, but
either way.
like Vinny said, how over Sable was is more over than any wrestlers will ever get now in certain spots. But I get your point in America too, where it's like she's not doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
She's not a women's wrestler.
She didn't
She's
want
there
to
to.
be there.
But she
How
was
much
a
clothes is she
flash
not
in
going to
the
wear?
pan.
Right.
She was a flash in the pan.
I'm going to go to.
now she's taking the beast inside her.
I'm jumping that. It's not a good segue, but I'm going to go to number 3.
Good for her.
Number 3 for me. It's the final name on my list. It is the Fabulous Moolah. Fabulous Moolah, who was she wrestling against? I don't know. Maybe Mae Young every night, but I know she held the title for like 4 decades. She had it for a really long time. When you say women's wrestling, you have to mention Fabulous Moolah. Even in the year 2017, Fabulous Moolah is brought up. Everyone's goal is to be like Fabulous Moolah still. No one's ever going to touch her records. They talk about untouchable records in baseball. This is the most untouchable record in professional wrestling history. Moolah's run with the women's championship. Moolah, for her legacy, put her 3.
No offense, I don't think any record in baseball is untouchable anymore with Aaron Judge at the plate. Just saying.
Anyone else have Moolah on their list?
I have Moolah here at number
Okay.
2. I'm sorry. Yeah, number 2. Moolah at number 2, and I just want to say, first woman to enter the Hall of Fame.
That's right.
All right. Held that NWA Women's Championship for about 30 years. We were just talking about a title reign. And then would become the oldest woman to hold the WWF Women's Championship at 76 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
All right.
That's the Moolah I remember. That's why I couldn't put her on the list.
1999 when she won that title, and I want to mention the Rock and Wrestling Connection. Her fighting Wendy Richter,
Captain Lou.
with Captain Lou and Cyndi Lauper in Richter's corner. Just good times. One of the great villains. Just an awesome wrestler. Fabulous Moolah, number 2 on my list. I went back and forth whether I wanted to put Moolah in front of Charlotte because Charlotte's newer and Charlotte in the second place, but ideally,
Charlotte's gonna get up to
ideally, I went to Charlotte because I think she's got a great career ahead of her.
And I didn't put Moolah on my top 5. However, I always appreciated Moolah's in-ring ability, and Moolah really kind of reminded me of, like a really good dependable car, like a good Pinto, Nothing too fancy. Got from point A to point B in the ring, and she did her job. And
she never did a job.
It's true. Can we just toss this number out here again real quick? The number is like 30-something. So let's just do quick math here. Let's say she was 25 when she won the first title. She may or may not have been that, but this is simple math. Let's say she held the title for 30 years. That means she held it for 30 years. She was 55 when she lost. That's a job. How do you not lose something for 30 years? How can you say the quality of her at 25 was the same at 55?
She was in her 30s when she won it.
Wrestle?
So she was 60?
She lost it in her 60s.
Oh, what was women's wrestling if you're losing in your 60s?
She wasn't doing backflips.
And she was still fighting in her 70s because she won the title at 76. Ridiculous.
Thankfully, she retired the singlet in her 70s.
Yes.
All right,
Can we do a couple honorable mentions?
I think Dan's got 2 left. I think he's got
I've
his 1 and his 2.
Well, of course he's got
left.
2 left. He likes these weird ones.
Leave it to Vinny here to jump the gun and try to take over the show.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Just to recap real quick, my list is done. Vinny's is done. Tiggs is done. I'm
just trying to go home from all of this talk of women's wrestling. I got to turn on some women's matches.
Dan America does not have
Jesus.
Fabulous Moolah. You do not have Trish.
No, I do
You
not.
do not have Lita.
No, I do not.
Who is 2 and 1 on your list here?
All right, let's go to number 2 right now. She was an AWA champion, but she didn't spend her entire career in the ring. You may know her more as a valet. I'm talking about the sensational Queen Sherry.
Yeah.
Sherry
No,
Martel.
I like
Sherry
that.
Martel.
I like that.
I love Sherry. She always just had I've been talking about the ring work of the other ladies, but when it comes to Sherry, she was spectacle personified, in my opinion.
Scary Sherry with
Scary
the
Sherry.
Macho King.
Yeah, and with Shawn Michaels, she sang the song.
The original one, right?
Yeah, the original
That's
song.
right.
She always had the makeup and the intricate outfit. She would always get involved in the match. However, she was a decent wrestler.
A good screamer, too. She'd be screaming
yeah.
constantly at ringside. Nut job, but she
Yeah,
was
good
great.
thing you said ringside, by the way.
Yeah.
Sherry leaning over on the ring, leaning on the apron, pounding on the ring.
Yeah.
Good thing you said apron as well. Number 1 for you. For Sherry's a great pick, by the way.
Okay,
None of us had Sherry as well. Who is number 1? I have a feeling. I have a feeling who it is. She's one of the best athletes women's wrestling's ever seen.
She's not just one of the best athletes. She's the greatest of all time. She is the Empress of Tomorrow.
Oh, wow!
The greatest of all time is Asuka.
I thought this was a Lunger Blaze for sure.
Oh,
Why is
no.
Asuka at NXT?
Asuka would hand it to a Lunger Blaze.
Now, a Luncher Blaze, who I prefer to refer to as Medusa. Medusa Michelli, but because that's when I grew up in the old WCW days. But she didn't make anybody's list?
No,
Medusa?
she didn't make mine.
Or
No.
Luncher
She
Blaze?
never really impressed me as much as
She may
the
take
ones
the-
that
I don't
have
think
on
she
my
had
list.
enough time to impress us because in WCW she didn't really wrestle. So
Yeah.
she didn't really get enough of a run in WWE. She had 3 years, and she was great, but she also, yet again, didn't really have a whole lot of competition. Not to say her competition wasn't good. She just didn't have enough people to face.
It's competition meets. She's also one of the people who made both businesses worse. Like when she left the WWF at the time, they got rid of the title because she was
And
the
all the
one
women went.
because she dropped the belt. And then they went to WCW. I barely remember the
excuse
WCW
me.
wrestling women's matches.
Excuse me.
Yes.
We're not talking about some Lunger Blaze here.
We're talking about
Jesus.
Asuka. That's right.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
We're
Dan
talking
America.
about the greatest of all
Please
time.
tell us why
We're talking
Asuka's
about
the
the
I do
greatest.
like the
of
fact she
tomorrow
wears the
here.
thong over her
What?
pants, unlike Lita.
Why is Asuka number 1 for you?
It's not about Asuka's body, although it's incredible.
Damn
it's,
right.
It's about her. It's about her in-ring ability. Granted, she looks a little stiff in there at times.
That's
but-
strong style, though.
Yeah, she is vicious in the ring. And if you go back and watch some of her older stuff from Japan when she says Kona, she's one of the most unique characters I've ever seen that backs it up 110% in the ring. Sometimes I forget that I'm even attracted to her just because of what she's doing in the ring and the getup she wears and everything. Well, I guess that contradicts it, but I love Asuka. A friend of mine tried to tell me when she first came in that every Japanese wrestler is like that. I looked it up. No, Asuka is one of a kind. They actually had special presentation or a special or new different way to present her match in Japan just because Asuka is that unique in the ring. And I love the presentation, I love the mask, I love the dance, I love the outfit, I love the way that she moves in the ring. She kind of moves like Tajiri. And it's not very often that you see a female wrestler move and act like a man and still be as attractive as Asuka is. Then, you know what? I can go on.
I want to say one thing about Asuka though. One thing that I do love about Asuka, it's something that I don't even know if she's meaning to do it. I don't even know if the officials want her doing it, but it comes off. She comes off kind of like sexual in the ring.
Yeah, she does.
But like, I think that adds yet another interesting level to her character because she's not being sexual.
Yeah, she's
doing
Asuka.
stuff that looks sexual.
We're gonna
but it's not on purpose.
Yeah, we're gonna recap our list in a second, and we can all answer this question if we want. I'm gonna ask this Dan America. She is not on the roster, the main roster right now. When she does eventually get there, how are they gonna book her? They're not gonna have her go 500 days with the title again, are they?
Possibly. I'm pretty sure I know what's gonna happen because I have been foreseeing this scenario for a while now. And that is that at the next NXT event, it's been booked as a fatal four-way. It's going to be Ruby Riott, Nikki Cross, Ember Moon, and Asuka. And Asuka is not going to get pinned to lose the title.
But you know what? No, I like that because it preserves her prestige for the main roster.
I think what would have been better is if she just walked in the middle of the NXT ring and said, no one here can handle Asuka, drop the title, walk out, and then she shows up on the main roster.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Do you think she's going to the main roster as a heel or a face? Because she's kind of in between right now in NXT.
She is, one of those types. She's an Austin.
She doesn't have
she's
to do
a
either.
Taker. She's a Flair. She doesn't have to do either. People are going to cheer her no matter what because she's freaking awesome.
I think right off the bat she's going to have to feud with heels, though.
I think she's going to be great. I think we got to wait on Asuka, but I do want to hit this one more time, the recap of the list, our top five again. I'm going to go with my five first. My number 5 was Chyna. My number 4 was Trish Stratus. My number 3 was the Fabulous Moolah. My number 2 was Lita. And my number 1, Charlotte Flair.
All right, here's my top 5.
Here comes Mount Vesuvius.
Hollywood from the Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. Number 4, Alexa Bliss. Number 3, Leilani Kai. Number 2, Fabulous Moolah. Number 1, Charlotte.
And my list is number 5, Wendy Richter. Number 4, Charlotte Flair. Number 3, Bull Nakano. Number 2, the sensational Queen Cherry, whom I once named a cat after. And number 1, the Empress of Tomorrow, the future of the women's division in the WWE, Asuka.
What sound do you make when you think of Asuka?
Oh my God. Your top 5, Vinny.
Number 5
Wait,
is Lita.
I have another sound.
Oh, do it. Oh, that's not a good sound for Asuka. Doesn't look well on her. Anyway, number 5, Lita. Number 4, Ivory. Number 3, Jacqueline. Number 2, Trish Stratus. And number 1, Charlotte. Now, do we
Yes, I was going to say, so we ran a little long, so we're probably not going to do heel or face. Tig, want to say something real quick, and I'm going to let you hop on your thing. Go ahead, Tig.
I want to say no Becky Lynch.
Oh, I'm getting to that.
Becky Lynch is all right.
No Becky Lynch. No The Boss.
I'm getting
Sasha
to
Banks.
Sasha Banks. I'm surprised. No Paige. No Bailey.
Vinny,
So
go ahead
for
with
me,
yours.
Here is my thing. They are all amazing. Not quite up there just yet. And that's the same thing I would pretty much want to say for Charlotte, why it was hard to put her at number 1 because she's only been around for so long. Becky, whether it's Becky, Bailey, Sasha, Charlotte, all of them at one point are going to be the best of the best. Charlotte's the only one that's there right now.
You really don't think Sasha Banks is there yet? Or Becky Lynch?
She was my number 6. Sasha, Becky, they were very hard for me not to get onto this list, but if I put them on the list, I would pull people off of this list that deserve to be on there.
Gotcha.
Sasha, for me, I've actually had to go on the air. We played a segment with me and Zach when he was on here called Defend Your Tweet, and I've multiple times tweeted out Sasha Banks is the greatest of all time. And if we had done this list a year ago, I would have told you, like,
Sasha would have been.
She would have been number 1. She would have been like
she would've been
Oscar for
number
you
1.
for Dan America. I thought she was the greatest thing I'd ever
And
seen.
look, now she didn't even make your list.
Right, and she didn't make my list. And I think it's nothing against her stuff in the ring, but it's that like Charlotte took her character to another level. I think the boss thing is like, okay, what does that mean? You're just saying you're the boss. Like, I'm being spoiled now by women's wrestling.
Right.
I need more out of these girls.
And when it comes to Paige, she has allowed her personal life to ruin her career.
Yeah.
At one point, she was primed to be up on this list. She will never be on this list now. And it's because of everything she's done outside the ring. She's ruined her career.
Well, I do look forward to her porn magazine.
Next set of, yes.
You know that's on its way.
Two quick things about...
How big is the dildo going in there now?
Oh, my God. Sasha Banks and Bayley, I'll say this. Sasha Banks and Bayley's match, not at the 2016 one, but the 2015 NXT Brooklyn, it's one of the top 5 wrestling matches I've ever seen.
And I think that is more because of Sasha as opposed to Bayley.
Unbelievable. Asuka did beat Bayley.
Yes,
You're right.
she did.
She did. And also the one they had as an Iron Man match at NXT, phenomenal. And Bayley, she did it at NXT. She still gets the loudest chance to like the "We Want Bayley" chance.
Hey,
that's a female wrestler getting
Bayley.
that. Yeah, it's amazing.
Let me explain here. See, my list is what I feel. Or of course, the first one is bias, but I think that my list is like the perfect blend of, female wrestling through the ages. Because I got an attitude. I don't have an attitude era. Or a ruthless aggression wrestler on here. Well, that's because women's wrestling sucked then. And, Trish and Lita weren't really that good. And while you guys are mouthing to each other, I'm just going to sit here and bash them all to hell. So, no, seriously, they were fun to look at, but they only did 3 moves.
Right.
And I'm glad Mickie James handed it to Trish at that WrestleMania. That was one of the greatest moments ever because Mickie James was so popping out of her costume on the top and the bottom, and she was wrestling while she was doing
Remember
it.
they were calling her Piggy James at one point, just below the belt.
Piggy James.
Calling her Piggy James. That's our podcast this week. The best female wrestlers of all time. Next week, we are back. I'll see you next week.
Next week, the guys count down the top 5 managers of all time as the heel turns.